ChatGPT. Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It's a tool that can answer your questions, pen poetry, create and write ad copy, build computer code, and even write books. But I promise this video was not created with ChatGPT. I will introduce you to why everyone's talking about ChatGPT. Discover how ChatGPT works and what it can do to help you at work. Nice. Let's see. All right. About this, so introduction, foolish assumptions, icons, beyond this book, where to go from here. Chapter 1, introducing ChatGPT, setting up an account, comparing ChatGPT, search engines and analytics, understanding what ChatGPT is and isn't, unwrapping ChatGPT features, competing with ChatGPT for your job, redefining the chatbot with ChatGPT Plus, comparing two versions, sampling its many uses, discovering other forms of GPT, grabbing headlines and disrupting businesses, grokking that ChatGPT is a harbinger of exponential change. That's weighing the initial effects of existing businesses and industries, bracing for future upheaval, breaking the spell of heartless machine overlords, opening the door for bigger AI products, categorizing types of generative AI, understanding ChatGPT creator, OpenAI.
You can avoid brain fog or writer's block by remembering the ROID acronym. Just like steroids make your muscles stronger, this will help you to get more points on your executive summary. This stands for reader, objective, issue, data. Reader is the audience of the report. Who is going to be reading your document? Objective. This will always be either inference, which is trying to understand the data using predictive models, or prediction, which is using your model to make predictions about future or unknown events. The issue is the business problem. It's the pain point. It's going to be increasing profits, decreasing costs, or increasing customer satisfaction. The data will be the data that you use in your report after applying any adjustments or changes. Putting this together, you can say something like, this report helps reader to perform objective and solve issue using data. Here's a real example from June 16, 2020. The reader was merged and acquired clinics and hospitals executives. The objective was inference. The issue was help hospital administrators to better understand and manage patient needs by understanding the drivers of patient length of stay. The data was 10,000 observations based on historical inpatient encounters for patients with diabetes from U.S. hospitals between 1999 and 2008. Putting this together, you can say, our client, managed and acquired clinics and hospitals, has hired us to help hospital executives gain a better understanding of the factors that drive inpatient length of stay. We use predictive analytics to identify the reasons why some patients are sent back home quickly and other patients need to spend several days in the hospital. We used historical inpatient encounters for patients with diabetes for U.S. hospitals between the years of 1999 and 2008. Any conclusions for this report are limited to the population of this data set and would change if applied to a different population. So as you can see, this sentence can be broken up into each of these components. Next are boilerplate paragraphs. These don't really change. They are almost the same across each of the exams. If you look at the past exams from June 2019 or December 2019 and June 2020, you can see that they each contain types of these paragraphs. The first will be something about reviewing the data for completeness, or building or checking the data in a variety of ways. You will also want to include the variables that you used using the data dictionary. There's also going to be a paragraph that talks about how you split the data into training and test sets. The first paragraph would say something like, after modifying a few features to prepare them for modeling, I tried a variety of models to see which would perform best to explain the factors affecting the length of stay for hospitals. Each model was calibrated using 70% of the data, and then its performance was measured using the other 30%. This process helps to identify models that adequately capture the patterns of the data and generalize well to new data. Or, in the second case, you would say, I tried a variety of models to see which would perform best. This was done by calibrating a model on 70% of the data and then seeing how the model performs on the other 30%. This replicates the way that the model will be used, and that the model will be predicting value for new applicants who were not used to build the model. You can basically copy and paste or memorize these paragraphs into your executive summary. Another example is the June 18th, 2019 exam. The audience, ABC Insurance Marketing Department. The objective was inference. The issue, increase the number of customers who purchase the product by understanding the different aspects of the marketing campaign. Data was 10,000 observations for 14 variables that include personal information about the potential purchaser, the timing of the call, economic indicators of the time of the call, and whether a purchase was made. Putting it all together, you have, I have been asked to advise the marketing department at ABC Insurance on what efforts will be most productive in terms of purchases for future marketing campaigns for a particular insurance product based on data collected from a completed marketing campaign. The data has been analyzed using predictive models to bring out what aspects of the marketing campaign have the greatest impacts on whether customers purchase the product. Because the data is specific to this product, this advice is also specific to just this product. The data did not include any experience in January or February, so no predictions on marketing campaigns for this product in these months can be made. The data contains 10,000 observations for 14 variables that include personal information about the potential purchaser, the timing of the call, economic indicators of the time of the call, and whether a purchase was made. The variable will be predicted based in the future based on other variables. This data, 46% of calls resulted in a purchase. Pause the video now. Take a look at the December 12, 2019 exam. Fill out the following Royd letters. Solution. The reader is MEB marketing team. The objective is prediction. The issue was to increase profits by determining if a customer is high or low value. The data was 40,400 and 100 observations on prior customers who are age 25 or older. Putting this together, you would have the MEB marketing team has asked us to build a model that can predict if an applicant will be a high value or low value customer. We were supplied with 48,442 observations prior to customers that can be used to build a model and gauge the potential profit from using it. I was informed that this product would only be sold to customers aged 25 and older, so younger policyholders were removed from the data, leaving only 40,410 to analyze. This model we constructed is relatively simple to apply and produced a profit of 4.92 per applicant.
Been 436 days since the first Amazon layoffs. Survival hasn't been easy.
They're always watching us. During 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., you have to remain online.
Every day I do a guided meditation to grapple with my own impermanence and remember the fall.
Circumventing the token limits and user history storage issues. Aha, page 55. Thinking in threads. Chaining prompts and other tips and strategies. Understanding GPT models in ChatGPT. Chapter 4. Chapter 5. warnings, ethics, responsible AI. Summarizing model. So making responsible AI. They don't use the word trustworthy here. And President Biden passed an act called the Trustworthy AI, and it's uses that word instead of responsible, right? Because they're making responsible AI, troubling developers, protecting human rights and humans using AI, understanding the good, the bad, and the ugly, heeding open AI warnings, considering copyright and IP protections. Considering. not considering. Not protecting intellectual property. Not avoiding plagiarism, right? They just say, we just consider it, right? Searching for predictability, reaching for reliability, hallucinating versus accuracy, or fact versus fiction, probing professional and other use cases for ChatGPT. Okay, mitigating risk and liability, that might be relevant to insurance stuff. Probing professional and other uses for GPT, finding ChatGPT embedded in software, locating ChatGPT in business software, integrating with everything everywhere all at once. This author, Pam Baker, is a freelance journalist who focused on emerging tech topics like artificial intelligence, data analytics, and edge computing. She's the author of Decision Intelligence for Dummies. Where does she go to school? Does she always do freelance, or does she have a full-time job? What part of the country does she live in? Working with ChatGPT in education, using yeah. Okay. I just want to see the pictures. Are there any good pictures? There's some good pictures. It's only black and white. An AI website builder tool. Communication with confidence.
Like, if I was to add another chapter to it, I would want to see, like, the audience. Like, how are millennials versus Gen Z versus Gen Xers, adopting and using ChatGPT? We take for granted, like, if you're, like, in your 20s to 40 even, you already know enough about computers because you grew up with Google search, right? So, like, it's it's kind of an interesting paradigm that we have right now, where you can almost tell that there's going to be the younger generation that's going to kind of leave behind. I grew up using, like, Google search.
GPT architecture, setting the stage, increasing the number of versions, prompting basics. Appears deceptively simple. The user interface is elegantly minimalistic and intuitive, as shown in first part of the page is information regarding ChatGPT's capabilities. Quotations. The prompt bar, which assembles a search bar, runs across the bottom of the page. Just enter a question and a command to prompt ChatGPT to produce results immediately. If you enter a basic prompt, you'll get a bare bones encyclopedic-like answer, as shown in.
Is that people, just like in machine learning, overfit the model to get the result that they want. Whereas if they don't find the answer, they say, hey, ChatGPT, write me a short story about a car that drives down the highway. And then ChatGPT will give an answer, right? And maybe that answer is not what the person was thinking at first. And instead of assuming that what they thought was incorrect or different, they continue to fish for results. in a model, if you're doing machine learning and hyperparameter tuning, you'd continue to change the hyperparameters until you get the numbers that you want out. Similar idea. I think the best case, let's keep going. Grokking that ChatGPT is a harbinger of exponential change. Trade publications usually trumpet the arrival of a new technology, with mainstream media giving only a perfunctory nod, but mainstream media headlines quickly shouted the arrival of ChatGPT, and even talk show hosts and comedians gave the take on how ChatGPT would change the world. Some said ChatGPT's arrival heralded the end of many jobs and careers. Others said it would kill or diminish entire industries such as media, law, and education. Still others thought that it was the beginning of the end of humanity, either by stunting our brains or sounding a welcome for newly formed AI overlords. The more positive folks pointed to ChatGPT's capability to enable new ways to make money, ease our labors, speed our education, stoke our ideas, solve complex problems far more at a time, strongly in productivity. But despite many different opinions, the consensus is that ChatGPT is a harbinger of exponential change, bringing universal disruption and creative destruction. Law school, like, they tell you how to ask questions and answer questions. There's such a thing as a leading question, which is when you ask a question and you already know the answer. GPT doesn't do anything unless you have a human being that's there prompting it and asking for feedback. So we don't have a point where this is like an autonomous chatbot fully. Like, it also incorporates human feedback, because you upvote or you downvote the response, and then GPT is using that information from the internet, just like, and we will not be our society. Well, no, I can't say that. There's always going to be people that still prefer to use Google search, right? There's still people that say, oh, I don't use, I don't like to send voice memos and text messages. I prefer to only do phone calls with people. And I'm like, no, some people are like, no, let's embrace the text messages. Well, let's embrace ChatGPT. Let's embrace